Introduction, talking about the operating system introduction, you must be aware about the different type of operating systems in your PCs, like Mac you are using, Windows you are using, Linux, different versions of Linux, that is Ubuntu, Red Hat, Kali Linux. There are so many, but I'm not going on all of that. First, you should know why you are studying this subject and why it is important. Till now, you have discussed so many subjects like data structures. What is that? You are simply creating some programs, running it, and you are producing some kind of output according to you. Whatever you want, you are going to code. If you want some result from some output, from some input, you will get that using data structures. Now, why this operating system is important? Actually, operating system is the heart of the system. It is known as the heart of the computer system. You cannot perform anything on your PC until and unless there is an operating system. Okay, a human can die, human will not survive if there is no heart. That means heart is a compulsory thing. Similarly, operating system is the compulsory thing for a computer system, whether it is DOS based, Windows based, Linux based, or Mac based. It can be anything. Even your mobile phone is require some kind of operating system. So operating system is a must thing. Now, there are so many services that operating system can perform. That is why operating system is very much important. We will study those kind of services as well. What kind of services operating system can perform. Now, uh, talking about the introduction part, what we are going to study here, what operating system can do, computer system organization, computer system architecture, operating system operations, resource management, security and protection, virtualization, distributed systems, kernel data structures. These are just for your information that these different type of systems we are having. Don't go with the different difficult names like computer system organization. There will be so big diagram in that organization. Not like that. You should be aware about the fact that what are the different things you must be aware about before going to the operating system concepts. Now, suppose you want to run a C program. You have created a program that will add two integer numbers. Okay, just a simple code. Now you are going to run that code. Before running, you will be compiling that code. That whenever you are clicking Control F9 or compiling, who is compiling for you? There is a compiler for that particular language. What compiler will do? Compiler will convert your code into a different machine level code which can be understandable by the operating system. After all the codes will be run by the operating system itself. You cannot run any code without the help of operating system. All the tasks or all the codes will be running by the operating system itself. Now, if you want to draw a picture, you can draw a picture using paint or anything, but paint is a service provided by your operating system. There are so many services. You want to interact with your printer through some command like control P for printing purposes. Whenever you are pressing control P, that means you are printing the page with the help of printer. Now, who is going to pass this command to the printer? It is the operating system. It will understand your command, whatever you have pressed, then it will be converted to some machine level part. Then again, it will be executed by the operating system. Uh, Now you will be having the idea that operating system is everything. Whatever you are doing in your system is to be done by operating system. You cannot do with the help of any other software except operating system. There are so many softwares you can use for your purposes, but that software is only for your purpose, only used for the front end. You are writing any code, you are manipulating any data item, everything is to be on the front end. On the back side, it will be converted to machine level code, and that machine level code is to be executed by the operating system itself. No task in the system. If you want to interact with any kind of hardware in your system, obviously, always, if you want to use some kind of output, if you want to print, if you want to display this image, every time you need some kind of output, that's why you require a system, you use a system. So everything is to be done by operating system itself. Now, what are the objectives? Describe the general organization of a computer system and the role of interrupts. uh, in a particular system, what are the different components and how these components are managed inside the system. Suppose you are having a CPU, you are having a RAM, you are having a monitor, keyboard and all. How these are managed inside a system? First, you should know about this. Then the role of interrupts. Interrupts means it's a kind of interruption. Interruption means something is running, you are forcibly stopping that service. That is known as interrupt. It can be man driven, means you are forcing some service to stop, or it can be general also. General means all of a sudden power failure is there and again some interrupt is there. You are running a code, suddenly some error occurs, it is also a kind of interrupt. If you are pressing any particular key to stop the particular program, then again it will be called a interrupt. If power failure is there, power disconnection is there, internet connectivity just gone, then it will be known as the interrupt. If you are playing a video, suddenly if you are playing a video on your mobile phone, suddenly some pop-up came that you have got some message on your mobile device. Okay, you are just clicking on that message, again your video will be stopped. That will be called a interrupt. Interrupt means anything that can cause your services to stop for meanwhile. If your services that are running are being stopped with some reason, that will be a interrupt. Describe the components in a modern multiprocessor computer system. Okay, if you are talking about multiprocessor computer system, that means we are having uh, more than one processors inside the computer. Then what are the different roles of that multiprocessor system? uh, Before going deep in the multiprocessor concept, you should be aware about that in your system, suppose only one processor is there. Okay, I'm talking about a single processor system. That means you cannot run more than one task at a time. If you want to play 4 5 different uh, if you want to run 4 5 different kind of operations, that cannot be performed on a single processor system. at the same time. Now what will happen if we want to perform three different operations simultaneously? Some milliseconds first program will run, some milliseconds second program will run, some milliseconds third program will run, and again repetition of these three programs will occur. Within a second it will be swapped thousands of times, so that you will see that all the programs are running simultaneously, but it is not the case. They are not running simultaneously. You are switching one program to another, another to third one to fourth one, and so on, again repeating the first program so many times within a second. So you will get to know that all the programs are running simultaneously. No, all the programs are not running simultaneously. They are shifting inside the system. Your system is capable of executing thousands of, even millions of instructions per second. So uh, your system is, even if your system is a single processor system, you can run multiple tasks, but it will be on time sharing basis. They will share the time at a particular time. Let's say at time t equal to 1, there cannot be more than one process on the CPU. If that process will be removed from the CPU, then next process will be loaded to the CPU. You can shift these type of switchings million number of times inside the system. So there will be no problem, because your system is capable of dealing with millions of instructions per second. Then illustrate the transition from user mode to kernel mode. Now we are talking about user mode and kernel mode. How you are shifting from user mode to kernel mode in the system whenever services are running. So it can be system services, or it can be a program run executed by you. Then there are two kind of possibilities: whether it's a user defined program or the operating system program. Operating system program means whenever you are installing an operating system to a system, then there will be so many applications inside that operating system, like paint application, like updation services, like some kind of picture manager, like there are so many kind of different applications in the operating system. Those are running on your system. These are system level services, and what services you are executing on your behalf, like PDF editor, MS Word, you are installing from outside. These are known as user services. So there will be two different kind of services: user and operating system services. Operating system services means the kernel part, that are requisite, that are must to run. If the kernel services are stopped, or you can say the operating system services are stopped, then the operating system will be shut down at that time. So there are two different kind of service modes: user mode and kernel mode. Kernel mode, the important operating system services will be running at the kernel side. User mode means you are running in the user area. User area means even if the services are stopped, then there will be no shutting down for your operating system. Now discuss how operating system are used in various computing environments. Okay, we'll be discuss these things. Then provide examples of free and open source operating systems. An operating system is fill in the blanks. An operating system is what? It's a program, it's a hardware, it's a compiler, etc. What is an operating system? Can anyone tell? It's a basic question in any competitive examinations or in any exam, that what is an operating system? It's a program, it's a hardware, it's a compiler, or etc. Is it something else? Is there anyone who is going to answer? So let me tell you, it's a program. Operating system is a program. It is written in most of the operating systems like Linux, different versions of Linux are written in C language. It's a program itself.
Sir, OS acts as a interface between user and hardware.
Yes, you are. I think you are writing in the messages also. So that is the definition of the operating system. I'm not talking about the definition. I am just asking whether it's a hardware, software, or compiler. It's a software. It's a program. Whenever someone is asking you that whether operating system is hardware, software, or any other thing, so you should be aware about that it's a software. It's a program. Okay. Now you are talking about the definition. Operating system provides the interfacing between hardware and software, hardware and the user. Interfacing means uh, you cannot directly deal with the hardware. You, if you want some kind of display, some kind of output on your monitor, then you cannot uh, touch or switch your service, switch your pin diagram in your motherboard that it will show some kind of image. You should have some kind of software mechanism to produce that image. That is why it is called as interface. Now let me tell you what interface is all about. Interface means there are some kind of services and you are just showing the important things to the user. You are not showing all the implementation parts to the user. Suppose you are going to some restaurant. On in that restaurant, what you will see? You will see the chairs, tables, and a counter. Counter will assist you whether whenever you want to sit, how many people are there. Then you will be served a menu. Then you can order from that menu. They will not uh, let you to the kitchen room that, sir, these are the, this is the fridge, this is the my kitchen, this is the oven we are using. They will not show you the internal parts of the kitchen. They will directly serve you the menu. Then you will order. They will provide you the food. They will provide you the meal. They will not let you know that what they are doing inside. Now that particular person, waiter, will be used at that time is, you can say, it's an interface between you and the restaurant. You are not directly dealing with the kitchen. You are just dealing with the person who is coming to you with the menu. So here also in the system, you are not dealing with the hardware part of the computer system. You are directly dealing with the services that they are offering to you. They are offering you that you can play this kind of video, you can listen this kind of audio, you can use your camera like this, you can print this paper like this, you can run any kind of code using this kind of mechanism. There are lot many features that operating system can provide to you, but you will not be directly dealing with the hardware portion. How the printer is connected to the system, how the commands are going from your end to the printer, that you should not be aware about. Is that clear to you? Why it is called the interface between hardware and the user? Interface means it's a mediator thing. You will take the services from that mediator person. You will not directly communicate with the third person, that is the hardware. Now, what is an operating system? So again, I will be repeating those things. A program that acts as an intermediary between a user of a computer and the computer hardware. It will be the intermediary between the user of the computer and the computer hardware, or you can say the interface. Operating system goals. Now, whenever we are talking about operating system goals, what does it mean? Goals means whenever you are designing an operating system, what are the things that operating system should contain? What do you want from an operating system? What should be the must feature in that operating system? There are three main features of the operating system that any kind of operating system should be having. First one, that is a major one, execute user programs and make solving user programs problems easier. To execute the user programs and make solving user programs easier means whenever you want to execute some kind of program, whether it's a C program, whether it's a Java program, it's a .NET program, Python coding, or even if you want to play a video, if you want to run an audio file, if you want to open a PDF file, it is also a kind of execution of a program. So it can be, it can execute the different type of programs from the user. It will take the programs and it will execute for you. It will uh, it will make easier to running your programs. Whatever you want to run, it will make that thing easier for you. Make the computer system convenient to use. uh, your computer system is there. Suppose I am providing you a disk operating system, that is DOS based computer system. DOS based computer system can also execute different kind of programs, but there every time if you want to play a movie, if you want to run an audio file, you will have to type some kind of command. It will be very difficult for you to execute every program. You will have to write some different kind of code. Again, it is not a very good operating system but very efficient. But now what we want, why you are not using Linux these days so much, why you are going for Windows? Because it is making your system convenient to use. It is giving you some kind of graphical user interface that you can easily understand, that if you want to play a video file, then you can directly double click on that particular file. It will be played. If you want to open a PDF file, just double click on that PDF file, it will be opened. It will be very easier for you. That's why you are using Windows. Why you are not using Linux? Because if you want to play a video, you will require some kind of commands there. In Ubuntu, some sort of thing has been removed. If you are using Linux, that means Red Hat. If you are using Red Hat, then even playing a video file or audio file is not a very easy task. Okay, so in operating system, it can execute your programs. It can be able uh, to simplify the uses of the computer system. Then third point is use the computer hardware in an efficient manner. Some hardware are involved with your computer system like keyboard, mouse, touchpad, your screen, your projector. There are so many things you are attaching to your motherboard that are hardware part. That hardware component should be managed by the operating system. There are these three must things that operating system should perform. Computer system structure. Till now, anyone is having any kind of doubt, because I don't want to confuse you regarding anything. It's a very simple subject and very interesting subject. If you want to listen only, you have to listen. You have to be very sincere, because I am not again and again saying that it is the must part for you all. And let me clear you that I will teach this subject very perfectly, that you will be clearing everything. No topic in this operating system will be untouched to you. I am teaching this subject for the fifth time in my career. So you will be very much happy uh, to learn this subject concept. There are so many interesting concepts. Do you have any kind of doubt before going further? If you want to ask anything, if you don't know that I should tell you something extra regarding the operating system, if you want to know, anyone can directly unmute yourself and directly ask the questions. I will be happy to know that. Okay, I am moving forward. Now, computer system structure. Computer system can be divided into four major components: hardware, then operating system, then application programs, and the users. There are four components, as you can see: the hardware, the operating system, the application programs, and the users. Hardware, as you are already knowing, this provides basic computing resources. If you want to perform any kind of operation, arithmetic operations, ALU will be running. ALU, arithmetic logical unit, that you must have the idea. CPU, memory, your IO devices, your printer, everything, whatever you can see in your computer system is the part of hardware. Everything you can see is hardware only. Now, the operating system. That operating system is to be installed over and above the hardware. Controls and coordinates use of hardware among various applications and users. If you want to run so many different kind of applications, whether it is user defined or the system defined, it will be run by operating system. Then the application programs. Application programs means that programs that user want to run. You want to play a video, you want to open a web browser, you want to visit some website like Facebook, then it is called a application program. If you want to run a particular C code, it is again an application program. Whatever you are installing over and above your operating system, it will be a application program. Application means You are downloading some sort of applications and you are installing over your operating system. Defines the ways in which the system resources are used to solve the computing problems of the user. Word processor, compiler, web browser, database systems, video games, etc. Whatever you are going to use, all those are the application programs that user want to run. What system want to run? Compulsion things that are operating system part. What user want to run is the application program. Now the user, you are the user, or any other particular system can be the user, or any kind of machine can be the user. How machines can be the user? Suppose some sensor based activity is there. You are creating a kind of robot will think and compute, give the instruction to the computer. Okay, there are different kind of users also. So these are the four basic components in a computer system. Now we are having computer hardware, which will include CPU, memory, IO devices, etc. Then above that, we are having operating system. Above that, we are having application programs like compiler, web browser, development kits, your games, videos, audios, files, everything is the application program. Then the user. Now, user cannot directly communicate with the operating system or the computer hardware. User cannot directly communicate with operating system or the computer hardware. User can directly communicate with the application program. Those application programs will be communicating with the operating system, and then again operating system will be communicating with the hardware. If you want to use any kind of service, you will use the application programs. Then application programs will be converting your uh, instructions to the machine level code, and machine level codes will be executed on the operating system, and operating system will be responsible to handle all the hardware part of your computer system. Now what operating system will do, we will discuss this in the next class. Before finishing this session, I am going to show you what I am having for you. We are going to follow this book, that is Operating System Concepts, 8th edition, written by Galvin. Operating System Concepts, 8th edition, Silberchers and Galvin. So you can download this book from internet sources. It is freely available on the internet. It is the best book one can study the operating system. No other book is there. Even in IITs, NITs, or any other private college, this book is mandatory for operating system course. That's why we are following the same book, and you in your syllabus also this book is mentioned on the first number. Okay, it is a best book for our operating system. Then again, I am having these 17 PPTs starting from chapter 1 to chapter 17. There are 17 different PowerPoints according to the chapters. I am showing you the first chapter, then we will move to the second chapter, and there are different chapters and different slides. So these slides I didn't have created. These are the predefined slides for this particular book, written by the author itself, created by the author itself. So I will show you the genuine contents of this operating system. I'm not changing anything here. Even if I want to give you some any other source, I will write in the boxes here. that this is my content I am going to give you, but that is not now required. I will give you the basic and the fundamental things, and I will not skip any part from this course, that is operating system. Anything more you want to ask? Till that time, CR is requested to take the attendance screenshot. Okay, someone is asking, I have explained the single processor system. Now, what will happen when we are using a single processor with multiple core systems? Uh, Actually, whenever we are talking about multiprocessor system, multiprocessor means we are having different processors on the same motherboard. When we are talking about multi-core systems, multi-core processor, that will be a single chip. Inside that single chip, there will be different segments. Those can be used as multi-processor systems. In multi-cores, you can assume that it is a single processor. Inside that single processor, we are having different processors. If you are using multi-processors or you are using multi-core processors that are exactly same nowadays. Multi-core nowadays we are using. Previously we were using dual core that uh, must have two different cores in the processor. That means two executable units, two different units that can perform two different operations at a time. Then we were having core to duo. In that we were having four different cores in core to duo. Then now we are having core i3, i5, i7, and i9 also. So we are having different number of cores inside a particular processor. We are not using different processor chips in our CPU. We are using a single chip, single chip. Inside that single chips, we are having different circuits. How it is different, we will discuss it further on while we were discussing the multiprocessor system. Okay, actually, whenever you are using two different processors, that will require the different registers for every processor. Processor 1 will be having some different registers, processor 2 will be having some different registers. Okay, now if you are using a multi-core system, that means they can share the common registers, they can share the common uh, storage in that processor unit. They can share the common ALU. They can share the resources inside the processor. That's why nowadays we are using multi-cores. That's why we are not using multi-processor. If you are using multi-processor, it will increase your cost. Okay, now I think your doubt is clear. So we will discuss all those things in the next class. So thank you for your patient listening. Thank you everyone.